If anything unexpected happens in our small little world around us, we get irritated. If anything unprecedented happens in our planned lives, which shouldn't have happened, we feel disgusted and depressed. We feel, why me? Mental depression has become a global phenomenon. It happens for so many reasons. I was searching for a motivational story for making a documentary film. At this juncture, I met Vikram. He is a very jovial and active person with a lot of energy in him. What struck me was the way he was leading his life. He was leading life absolutely normally, as any other human being leads life. He loves watching movies. He goes to watch movie in a theatre hall once or twice in a month. He goes out for shopping. He goes for a gym. He goes for swimming. He travels all alone in various parts of India on business trips like any other human being. Yes, he is absolutely blind. He is not blind since birth. He has gone blind at the age of 20.
My first experience of night blindness.
Age around 20 is the age when we actually start living our lives.
It happened that
After getting blind at around this age,
on the road,
any person would have,
and suddenly I bumped into a person
but Vikram fought back his
standing right in
life.
front of me.
After knowing about him, I thought of going deep into his life.
But I couldn't see him. I came and told this to my parents, and later on we went to a doctor, and after I was thoroughly checked, I was told that this is due to night blindness, which is the first symptom of retinitis pigmentosa, the problem which I had, which ultimately led to my blindness.
Then we realized that he's losing his sight, and we could feel the changes in him as well as in the family members and the world around him especially. And he was like, suddenly he became from a very, very active child to a very, very matured person on the, at a very instance. So for us also to accept it and to see him go through it was very difficult, because even we didn't have much idea about as to what he would do when he grows up, and how would things be for him. We were like clueless. And then I think for 2 to 3 years he was in a situation where he was quite depressed and all.
I became so upset and depressed with life that I remember I used to sit in a room quietly by myself with all the lights off and sit there for hours together, and I wouldn't like to be disturbed. It was a stage where I was very, very depressed.
बहुत ज़्यादा दुख हुआ था जब पहली बार मालूम पड़ा कि इसको आरपी है.
But I somehow managed to pass college with the help of my friends who would read aloud the text material to me. And when I would give exams, I remember that I was not able to see the question paper myself. And a friend of mine who would sit behind me would read the questions, and I would write the answers.
And during the examination also it used to happen that he could not see the questions properly. In that case we had to read the questions. The boys, sometimes me or sometimes some other friend who used to sit with him or behind him, used to read him out the questions. And afterwards we came to know from him that even the answers, he was not very clear what he was writing. He used to write on sheer perception.
And I remember I was not able to see even what I was writing. So the exams which I wrote, I was not able to see myself. I was not aware at that point of time that blind people can avail the facility of a scribe or a writer who will write on their behalf. I was not in touch with any of the NGOs, so I did not know of this facility. So I had to write my exams myself.
After all types of treatments failed, they went to Cuba.
We even went to Cuba because it came out in the papers that the Cubans have started a treatment for RP. So we went to Cuba and I was operated upon apart from other therapies which they gave. However, it was of no avail. There was no improvement as such, and later on it was discovered that they were only conducting experiments. But one good thing which happened in Cuba was that I met hundreds of other RP patients. So, I thought that I'm not the only one who's blind. There are so many other blind persons as well who are like me. And I think my rehab process started from Cuba. And after returning back, I came in contact with other NGOs.
मैं आया एनालिसिस से स्टार्ट किया इसमें, फिर मैंने भी ज्वाइन किया था।
I learned Braille. Although I didn't use it much, but I at least learned it. I did a few recreational activities. I did an adventure course with the Himalayan Mountaineering Institute in Darjeeling. We were taught rock climbing with the help of instructors. Plus we were taken on a trek. Plus we were taken on a trekking program to Sikkim for about a week, where we started from a place called Yoksam, which is at 5,000 feet, and we trekked for 3 days and summited at a peak of 14,000 feet at a place called Zongri. Well, it was fun. It was really fun.
मुझे डर तो बहुत लग रहा था कि नहीं दिखता है और इस तरह ट्रैकिंग में जाएंगे ये लोग।
We were escorted by sighted people. Each blind was escorted by one sighted person, and that's how we did the trekking.
लेकिन फिर भी हम लोगों ने भेजा इसको कि ठीक है तुम जाओ, तो अच्छे से करके आया ट्रैकिंग। फिर उसके बाद दूसरी वो फैक्ट्री पहले तारातला में थी हम लोग।
My father had a small factory of about 800 square feet, where we used to make plastic covers for street lights and tube lights. Unfortunately, it was not doing too well, and I thought if I join the family business, I would be able to turn it around.
সেই সময় বিক্রমের বাবার সঙ্গে ফিলিপসের একটা প্রবলেম হচ্ছে। বিক্রমের বাবা বিজনেস চালাতে পারছে না প্রপারলি, ডেলিভারি ঠিক মতো পাচ্ছে না, সাপোর্ট করার মতো কেউ নেই।
When I told my decision to my parents, their reaction was kind of, okay, if you want to go to factory, you are most welcome, but I mean, they were not very willing to give me the powers to make decision or to do anything.
Vikram was not allowed by his father to join their family business. His chance to join the business in full capacity came after almost 2 years, in 1994, when their business was almost at the verge of closure, with a burden of loan worth Rs 20 lakhs from the market. His father decided to give him a chance before formally closing down the factory.
फैक्ट्री जाता है, ये बस में जाता है, एक आदमी संग में जाता है, बस में सुबह जाके शाम तक आता था बस में से।
After I got my opportunity, I tried to figure out as to what were the problems which led to this situation. I realized very quickly that our main buyers, Mrs. Philips India Limited, wanted two things from their suppliers. One, quality of the product, and secondly, timely delivery of the products.
Starting from a negative position, Vikram assessed where they were lacking. He was left with a huge task: he soon identified the points which need to be amended and made the necessary changes.
In this situation, now to increase production, I had to take certain steps. Like I increased a few workforce. I started with night shifts, increased a bit of machinery, and along with it, a lot of planning also had to be done, in the sense that the raw materials reach the factory on time, the financial planning had to be done, the inventory planning was to be done. I started maintaining a bit of inventory in order to deliver in time. So a lot of planning and execution was required, which I started doing, and gradually we started feeling the effects, and the factory was able to function normally.
After the business got the required stability, Anjana came in Vikram's life. Anjana is a person with a pleasant personality, and she is a very caring wife.
I met Anjana at a common friend's place. We then became friends, and over a period of time we started liking each other.
After I met Vikram, it was a very casual meeting. He when he came to know that I was from Sikkim, he told me about his trekking trips and how he had gone to Zongri and all those places, Lava, Lulegaon and all. He used to go for trekking. He told me about his mountaineering, where he had come to Darjeeling. So, we shared a little small rapport, because even I'm interested in, I like traveling and all. So that was the first incident, that first meeting. It was not much. Then we promised that we would keep in touch with each other. And gradually, he used to call me up. Sometimes I used to call him up. So just to, know about each other. How were we? We used to wish each other birthdays. So that's how it went about. Then next, after I think so about a year, again I came back, because I had to come for some meeting, for some wedding. I had come for a wedding. That time I called him up and I told him I was in town, and then he said, why don't we meet? And then we met. He took me to his house, and then I was with my mother, and then then next day I was supposed to go to Dakshineshwar, so I said that I'm going to Dakshineshwar, you would like to come along with us? He said, yeah, that would be very nice. So he was with us for the whole day and all.
At that time
He was completely blind when I met him. He had already lost sight before I met him only. So then we went to Dakshineshwar, we were there for the whole day, and the next day I left Calcutta. I went back to Gangtok. I was working in Gangtok, and then he used to just keep calling me up and all. So then gradually I started feeling that we were gradually getting attached to each other.
Why did you marry him?
When we were becoming friends, I realized that we were getting attracted to each other. I felt that he's someone who is very nice, and we mix up very well, we gel very well. We've got a similar sort of interest, like he also likes singing, even I like singing. He's very fond of traveling, even I like traveling a lot. And he's basically I really liked him as a person, and his persona, like being a visually challenged person. He used to do everything. He was not dependent on anyone and all. So that was very striking and all. And then
You fell in love with him.
yeah, I did fall in love with him. And yes, when he proposed to me, I took a little bit of time to answer him, because what I felt was, once I commit to him, if I withdraw, if I go back, that would be very bad.
They married in 1998. Now they have a son. His name is Nikunj.
Well, the business started to turn around, and the results started showing. We had loans from banks and other institutions to the tune of about rupees 20 lakhs, which we were able to pay off gradually in subsequent years as the turnover increased. The turnover, which was at rupees 20 lakhs in 1994, increased to about rupees 1 crore in 2001. It was at this point that further growth was not possible in the same place, as it was a very small factory of about 800 square feet and it had reached its optimum level. I had to look for an alternative arrangement, and it was then that I bought another factory of about 3,000 square feet.
When we have heard that he has purchased that factory, we shocked that how he is going to purchase this factory. Can he run the factory? We have seen that very small. Then all of a sudden he has made the jump to Plus Technics. And when we have gone to his place, we are surprised that how he is motivating that he is employing, how he is motivating our product.
My younger brother Rajat, who had completed his studies and was losing sight rapidly, joined me in this new factory, which was by the name of Plus Technics, and together we grew from strength to strength, and the business flourished over the next few years.
I was first diagnosed RP in 97, just before my class 12. That time, only when the problem has begun, we had showed the doctors and it was diagnosed RP. Yes, it was disappointing. It was a very unpleasant news. But we had explored all options and there was no cure for it at that time. So, well, I just took it in my stride and went on with it. There was no option sitting over it. So I just went on with it, yeah. Seeing my brother did have a cushioning effect on me. But in the sense that, yeah, I knew how to read